The last time my mother called me, it was to tell me I wasn't welcome at my own grandmother's funeral. The next time she called, 10 years had passed, and she was crying so hard I could barely understand her. She kept saying my name, not my brother's name, mine. So let me tell you how a family decides one son is worth everything and the other is worth nothing, and what happens when the math finally catches up to them. My name doesn't matter for this story. What matters is that I was the second son, the spare. From the time I could walk, the family had already decided who the favorite was, and it wasn't me. His name is Daniel, my older brother, 3 years ahead of me, and somehow always 3 steps ahead in my parents' eyes no matter what I did. When Daniel got a B on a test, my father framed it. I mean that almost literally. He told the neighbors about it for a week. When I got an A, my mother asked why I hadn't gotten it sooner. That was the temperature of the house. Warm on one side, cold on the other. And when you grow up on the cold side, you stop expecting the warmth. You just learn to stand a little further from the fire. The one person who never played that game was my grandmother, my dad's mother. Everyone called her Nan. Nan saw me. That's the only way I know how to put it. When the rest of the family looked through me, she looked at me. She remembered the small things, that I hated cilantro, that I'd wanted to be an architect since I was 9, that I got quiet when I was hurt instead of loud. Every Sunday I'd go to her house and we'd sit at her little kitchen table with the yellow tablecloth, and she'd ask me real questions and actually wait for the answers. She'd slide an extra slice of cake onto my plate and say, "Don't tell your brother." Like I was the one she was choosing, just once, just quietly. I didn't know it then, but those Sundays were holding me together. By the time we were adults, the pattern had hardened into something permanent. Daniel borrowed money from our parents constantly and never paid it back, and they called it helping family. I asked to borrow nothing, built everything myself, and they called me distant. I went into the trades, construction, then renovation, then eventually running small jobs of my own. It's hard, honest work, and I was good at it. My hands were always rough and my back always ached, and I was proud of every bit of it. My father once introduced Daniel to a room full of people as my son, the entrepreneur. Daniel had just failed his second business. Then he pointed at me and said, "And this one does, what is it again? Houses?" Houses, like he couldn't be bothered to remember. I want to be honest with you because this is the part people skip. I didn't hate them. That would have been easier. I kept showing up. Holidays, birthdays, the whole performance. I kept hoping that one day I'd do something big enough, be enough, that they'd finally turn and warm up to me. That day never came, but a different day did. Nan died on a Tuesday in October, quietly, in her sleep, the way gentle people sometimes get to go. I found out from a text, not a call, a text, from Daniel. 3 words. Nan passed, funeral Saturday. I sat in my truck in a hardware store parking lot, and I cried like I hadn't cried since I was a kid. The one person who saw me was gone, and the people who were left had told me by text message, the way you'd cancel a dentist appointment. I went to the funeral early. I wanted a few minutes alone with her before the crowd. I was standing by the casket when my mother walked up behind me, and the first thing she said, the first thing, was not, "How are you?" It was, "We need to talk about the house." Nan had a house, a small one, paid off, worth more than anything anyone in my family had ever owned. And before her body was even in the ground, my parents had already decided where it was going. To Daniel. Of course. I said, "Okay." I genuinely did. I said, "That's fine. That's between you and her will." And my mother looked at me with this strange, cornered expression, and that's when I understood there was more. They didn't just want me to accept that Daniel got the house. They wanted me to sign something. A document my father had drawn up with a cheap lawyer, waiving any claim to my grandmother's estate. At the funeral, next to her casket, when I hesitated, not refused, just hesitated, My father raised his voice in the funeral home. He called me greedy. He said I was trying to cause problems on the worst day of the family's life. People turned to look. Aunts I'd known my whole life stared at me like I was a stranger who'd wandered in to steal from a dead woman. And my mother, the one who'd carried me, leaned in close so only I could hear, and she said, "You were never really one of us anyway." I didn't sign. I set the pen down on the little table. I looked at my grandmother's face one more time, and then I walked out of that funeral home, and I did not look back. That was the last time I saw any of them for 10 years. People imagine that walking away from your family feels like freedom. It doesn't. Not at first. At first it feels like grief, because that's what it is. You're not losing the family you had. You're finally burying the family you wished you had. The first year was the hardest. I'd reach for my phone on holidays out of pure habit, and then remember there was no one to call. I'd see a man my father's age in a hardware store, and my chest would go tight for no reason. But here's the thing about being raised on the cold side of the house. You already know how to survive without the warmth. I'd been training for this my whole life, so I poured everything into my work. I stopped taking small jobs and started taking real contracts. I learned the business side, the parts I'd never had time for. I made every mistake a person can make running a company, and then I stopped making them, slowly, one hard year at a time. I bought my first apartment at 31, mine, bought with money that had my name on it and no one else's. I remember standing in the empty living room the first night, sitting on the floor because I had no furniture yet, eating takeout out of the container, and feeling something I'd never felt in my parents' house. Quiet. Good quiet. The quiet of a place where no one is keeping score against you. I built a life. Real friends, the kind you choose. A woman who looked at me the way Nan used to, like I was someone worth waiting for an answer from. Work I was proud of. A reputation people trusted. I'd be lying if I said I never thought about them. I did. But the thoughts got quieter every year until they were just a small ache I could carry without it slowing me down. I thought that was the end of the story. The overlooked son who left and made it on his own. A clean ending. It wasn't the ending. It was the setup. The phone call came on an ordinary Thursday, a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer. I wish I could tell you what made me pick up. It was a lawyer, an estate lawyer. He said my grandmother's name, and the floor of my stomach dropped out, because it had been 10 years and no one says her name to me anymore. He asked if I was sitting down. I wasn't. I sat down. Here's what had happened in the 10 years I was gone. I had to piece it together from the lawyer and later from my own digging, but it goes like this. Daniel got the house. He also got everything else. Nan's savings, what little there was. My parents handed him all of it, the golden child receiving his crown. And Daniel did what Daniel always did. He spent it. The savings went first. Then he borrowed against the house to fund another business that failed. Then he borrowed again. Then he stopped paying. The house, Nan's house, the one with the yellow tablecloth, the one my parents tore my family apart to give him, went into foreclosure. They lost it. All of it. Gone. My parents had retired by then. They'd put their own money into Daniel's failures too, the way they always had, because they could never tell him no. And when it all collapsed, there was nothing left to catch them. But that's not why the lawyer was calling. That's just the part that made me understand the universe has a longer memory than I do. The lawyer was calling because of something my grandmother did before she died. Something none of them knew about. Something that had been sitting in a sealed file for 10 years, waiting. Nan didn't trust my parents. I think she'd watched them play favorites her whole life, and it broke something in her quietly, the way it broke something in me. So she did something clever. The house, the part everyone fought over, she let that go to the will my parents could see. The bait, the things she knew they'd grab for. But her real money, and there was more of it than anyone knew, decades of small, careful saving by a woman who clipped coupons and never once spent on herself, she put into a separate trust. A trust with conditions. And the condition was this: it would not be released for 10 years. And it could only go to the grandchild who never once contacted her estate, never made a claim, never came asking for a cent after she was gone. She knew. Somehow she knew exactly how it would play out. She knew Daniel would take everything offered and burn through it. She knew my parents would let him. And she knew, this is the part that makes my throat tight even now, she knew that I would walk away and never ask for anything, because that's who she'd watch me be at that yellow kitchen table every Sunday of my childhood. She didn't leave the money to the favorite. She left it to the one who didn't need to be chosen to keep showing up. The lawyer read me a line from a letter she'd left with the trust. I'm going to read it to you the way he read it to me. To my grandson, if you are hearing this, then you state exactly who you were, and they state exactly who they were, and I am sorry I could not protect you from them while I was alive. I am protecting you now. Don't tell your brother. Don't tell your brother. Our old joke, the extra slice of cake, she put it in a legal document. She reached across 10 years and death itself just to slide me one more piece when no one was looking. I put the phone down and I wept in my own living room, the one I'd bought myself, like a child. Here's where the story turns, because 2 days after the lawyer called, my mother called. That's how I know how fast news travels in a family that ignores you until you have something. Somehow they'd heard, maybe through the lawyer's office, maybe through an aunt. It doesn't matter. My mother was crying, saying my name over and over. Mine, not Daniel's. She told me they'd lost everything. She told me they were behind on rent. They were renting now, in their 70s. She told me Daniel was in a bad way and they didn't know what to do. And then she said the words I'd waited my entire childhood to hear, except they came out twisted and 10 years too late. She said, "We need you. You're the strong one. You always were." I want to tell you I felt triumphant. The truth is I felt tired, a deep, old tiredness, because I finally understood the thing I'd spent 30 years not understanding. They were never going to love me for who I was. They could only ever want me for what I had. At the funeral, I had nothing, so I was nothing. Now I had something, so suddenly I was the strong one. Same son, different bank balance. So here's what I did, and I've made my peace with it. I told my mother that I was sorry they were struggling. I meant it. I'm not cruel, and being broke and old and scared is a real kind of suffering, no matter who you are. And then I told her the truth. I said, Nan left me that money because I never came asking. The moment I use it to rescue the people who threw me away, I proved she was wrong about me. And she wasn't wrong about me. She was the only one who was right. I told her I would not be sending money. I told her I wished them well, genuinely, and I told her not to call again. Then I did the only thing that felt true. I took a piece of what Nan left me and I set it aside. Not for my parents, not for Daniel. I used it to start a small scholarship at the trade school where I'd learned everything I knew. 1 kid a year, the quiet one, the one nobody's betting on. Because that's what she did for me at that kitchen table every Sunday. She bet on the quiet one. I'm just keeping the bet alive. People ask me if I regret not reconciling, if I lie awake feeling guilty. I don't. And I'll tell you why, and then I'll let you go. For 30 years, I thought family was the people you're born to, and that if they don't love you, the failure is yours. That you have to earn your way back to the fire. I was wrong. Family is whoever sees you. My grandmother saw me from across a kitchen, and across 10 years, and across the line between the living and the dead. That's family. The blood that ignored me, that was just biology. If you grew up on the cold side of the house, I want you to hear this part especially. You don't have to keep standing near a fire that was never going to warm you. There are warmer rooms. Sometimes you have to walk out of the funeral to find them. The last time my mother called, she said I was never really one of them. She was right. I never was. And it turns out that was the kindest thing she ever did for me. If this story stayed with you, there are more like it here. Quiet ones for late nights. Subscribe and I'll keep telling them. Sleep well.